So, welcome again, whatever attacks on civilian.
Thank you for having us, hosting these day attacks.
Πρωθυπουργού της Ελληνικής Δημοκρατίας και της Πρέσβης των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών στην Ελλάδα, κυρίας Κίμπερλι.
This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, November the 16th, coming to you from Larnaca, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Zelensky's trip to Athens. He is in Athens, Greece today to meet with Prime Minister Mitsotakis. This is an official state visit from the Green Goblin to Athens. And he is looking for three things from Greece. Three things is what Zelensky is going to be asking of the government of Greece. The first thing that he wants is Mirage fighter jets. The second thing that he wants are Patriot air defense missiles and systems, batteries. He is looking for Patriot air defense, of which Greece has 3, I believe, and he is looking for 2 of those systems. And the third thing that Zelensky is looking for is gas. He is looking at Greece to provide him with gas because Ukraine is out of energy, out of gas, out of fighter jets, out of air defense, Patriots. So that's going to be what Zelensky is asking of the Greek government. From what I understand, all of the center of Greece, or most of the downtown, has been closed off to cars, and they're doing this for security reasons, so that Zelensky and his entourage can move freely around central Athens without having to worry about any dangers or protests or anything like that. So where I do many of my videos in the center of Greece, that whole city center is going to be in lockdown from I believe 8 o'clock till 10 in the evening, like all day. The city center of Greece is going to be closed off to any traffic, any cars and any buses and stuff like that. So that is the trip to Athens from the Green Goblin. And what else? What else do we have going on in the world? Let's see. The Financial Times, they put out an article talking about the corruption scandal in Ukraine with the title "Bags of Cash and a Gold Toilet: The Corruption Crisis Engulfing Zelensky's Government." When the super pro Zelensky media, like the Financial Times, which is uber duper, super duper uber pro Zelensky, when they start talking about corruption scandals and gold toilets, oh boy, when they start talking about gold toilets, that's when you know Zelensky is in the crapper. No pun intended, or pun intended. Yeah, man. In the gold crapper. He's in the gold crapper. Gold toilet. Oh, man. So Fox News is asking why Trump is so silent about this. Why is the Trump administration silent about the $100 million Zelensky energy corruption scandal? Trump administration stays silent as massive Ukraine corruption scandal rocks Zelensky's inner circle. So the Trump administration is awfully quiet, according to Fox News, which is super duper uber pro-Trump. So why do you guys think the Trump administration has not said anything about the corruption scandal? The Europeans, they've said that they're very, very disappointed with the corruption scandal. Very disappointed with what's going on in Ukraine with the corruption. We thought that Ukraine was not corrupt, according to the Europeans. Human rights and EU values and democracy, right? How could this scandal have happened in Kiev? So the Trump White House is not saying anything, or has not said anything so far, and Fox is calling them out. So either the Trump White House is behind this, they're ultimately behind NABU, which is what Dmitry Medvedev believes. That's what he posted a couple of days ago, that this investigation had to originate from Washington, D.C. Where else would it originate from? So either there are forces in D.C., in the White House, the Trump administration, that gave the green light to NABU to move forward with this scandal, and so now they're staying quiet, or someone is telling Trump to remain quiet. Someone who supports Zelensky. Don't say anything, and this story will eventually go away. Do not comment on this. Maybe people high up in the Trump administration who have an interest in Project Ukraine are telling Trump, don't say a word about this. Do not give it any of your attention. Most Americans will not know about the scandal unless you start talking about it. So just keep quiet, Trump. So maybe that's what's going on. Either way, it is interesting that Trump is awfully quiet about the big scandal that is rocking the free world. Rocking in the free world. Where's Anthony Blinken and his guitar jamming to Rockin' in the Free World in Kiev? So Trump gave an interview to GB News, and he said that there are 25,000 Russian and Ukrainians who died last week, evenly split, is what Trump said. Evenly split. So he's still getting false casualty information, U.S. President Trump. He also said that he expects the conflict in Ukraine to wrap up quickly. He also said that as well. He thought it was going to be the first conflict that he solved of the eight conflicts that he has solved. He thought Ukraine and Russia was going to be the easy one because he has a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin. That is what he said, but he still believes that the conflict should wrap up fairly soon. The only way it's going to wrap up fairly soon, U.S. President Trump, is if the Zelensky regime collapses, which the scandal just might do. I don't think it will, but it might. There's a small percentage chance that this scandal brings down the Zelensky government. Rand Paul, he posted on X, remember when the Ukraine First Uniparty opposed my call for an investigator general for Ukraine? Trump silent on 100 million Ukraine corruption scandal resignations. Fox News. Rand Paul referencing the Fox News article. Taking a victory lap, Rand Paul. Yeah, he did call for an audit, an investigator and an audit of Ukraine and all the hundreds and hundreds of billions that have been funneled into Project Ukraine without any kind of inspection or audit or anything. And now it looks like the 100 million energy scandal is what's going to ruin Zelensky's pristine reputation amongst the collective West political class. Yermak is saying that every country is corrupt. That is what Zelensky's entertainment lawyer said. No big deal. 100 million? It's a cup of coffee, man. It's pocket change. And by the way, according to Andrei Yermak, every country is corrupt. So why are you guys making such a big deal? On the front lines, the Russian military continues to advance in Guilapole, and they are advancing very quickly. They captured 5 settlements on their way towards Guilapole. So much for a stalemate, which is what the collective West media has been telling us all this time. It's a stalemate. It's a stalemate. Russia just captured 5 settlements, but it's a stalemate. The Ukraine military, under the command of the brilliant General Syrsky, they are launching a massive counteroffensive in the Pokrovsk region, trying to reverse the tide of the situation in Pokrovsk. And this is a big counteroffensive, actually. The reports on this counteroffensive claim 10,000 Ukrainian troops in the region trying to break Russia's hold on Pokrovsk. And so far, the Russian military is annihilating those troops. They are destroying this counteroffensive. There are some outlets which claim that these troops, these 10,000 troops that Syrsky is sending into Pokrovsk, have had 2 weeks training. Very poorly trained, but Syrsky is under a tremendous amount of pressure to do something about Pokrovsk. His job may be on the line, so there are reports saying that he rounded up 10,000 people, trained them for a couple of weeks, and rushed them off into Pokrovsk to try and break the Russian hold, the encirclement of the city. We'll see how this counteroffensive unfolds, if they do manage to achieve some success, or if these 10,000 troops are eventually destroyed by the Russian military. It seems like this is Ukraine and Syrsky's last throw, his last attempt to try and do something, and his last attempt to try and keep his position. There was a video circulating the interwebs yesterday of 2 Russian soldiers, I believe in the I want to say the Kupiansk direction. Anyway, they were moving in the Kupiansk direction, and they ran across a pig or a boar, a pig, and the pig, as it started to run away from the 2 Russian soldiers, it stepped on a mine. Yeah, it stepped on a mine, and it saved the 2 Russian soldiers in a weird way. No one knows what happened to the pig, but from the video, the pig looks like it's okay, actually. It looked like it ran away. The mine went off, but the pig looked like it made its way out of this minefield. It was an interesting video. Just thought I would mention it. In Belgium, it looks like the CEO of Euroclear, Valerie Urbain, is warning the EU, don't you dare touch the 140 billion in Russian frozen assets. If you do, we're going to sue you. How about that, huh? She is sending a warning to Ursula von der Leyen. Don't touch these assets. If you do, then Euroclear is toast. Investing in Europe is toast, and we're going to have grounds to take you to court. This is according to Deutsche Welle. She's right. She's absolutely right. The minute you touch these assets, Euroclear as a business is over, man. It is over. The EU as an investment finance investment location for the rich, for the oligarchs, for countries to park their money is over. So who knows? This may be the final nail in the coffin of the 140 billion in Russian assets. If Euroclear is pushing back in this way, maybe that's going to be enough to discourage, to permanently discourage and prevent Ursula from going after these assets. What an interesting apartment building. I have no idea where I am, by the way. I have no idea where I am. How did I end up here? What part of Larnaca is this? Okay, there's the church. Wait, is that the church where I was at? I think that's the church where I was at. So let's go that way. Just your average neighborhood in Larnaca, Cyprus. Not too close to the beach. About maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minute drive to the beach. The Wall Street Journal, they posted an article saying that the quickest way to get money to Ukraine is to seize, not to steal. Why do I always say steal? It's not stealing, it's loaning. It's seizing, it's loaning, it's a reparation loan. Alex, why do you keep on saying steal? The quickest way to get money to Ukraine is to loan 140 billion in Russian frozen assets to the Green Goblin. So the Wall Street Journal is all for it. That's the quickest, fastest way to get money to Zelensky. So Fico was speaking at a school yesterday in Slovakia. I forgot the name of the town where he was speaking, but he said that his government is not going to be participating in any kind of Russian frozen asset loans, not stealing the money, loaning the money. His government's not going to be in favor of money to Project Ukraine. And it appears that there were some pro-Ukrainian students. It looked like a high school, so teenagers, pro-Ukrainian teenagers, or maybe even students from Ukraine who are now living in Slovakia. I'm not sure exactly, but they were all dressed in black, and they were very upset with Fico, and they started to heckle him in a way. And Fico, he told them, you know what? If you guys don't like what I'm saying about giving money and weapons and supporting Ukraine, Fico said, get a rifle and go to the front then. What are you doing here? And so the students stood up. One of them had a Ukraine flag, and they all left in protest. Not all the students. It looked like maybe 20 students, 15, 20 students, all dressed in black. And they were doing something with their keychains. Like they were rattling their keychains, which is, from what I understand, a way in Slovakia to show that you don't like what someone's saying. It's kind of a way to say you're in disagreement with someone. At least that's my understanding of it. So anyway, that is an interesting video that is making the rounds on social media. Interesting to see Fico actually tell these students, if you don't like what I'm saying, then go to the front. That was an interesting statement from Fico. But in Poland, the sentiment is turning against support for Project Ukraine. This is according to Donald Tusk. And the reason that it's getting harder and harder each day to support the Green Goblin, according to Tusk, is connected to this corruption scandal. He said this corruption scandal is really doing damage to the Zelensky regime and to funneling more money to the Zelensky regime. But Tusk said that he will remain committed to Project Ukraine for as long as it takes, even though the sentiment in Poland is decisively turning against the conflict and continuing to send people's money to the conflict. So that's what's going on in Poland. Rheinmetall, since we're talking about money, the German military juggernaut known as Rheinmetall. Man, they are making a ton of money. This was posted by The Real Fly. The Ukraine has been extremely profitable for German defense contractor Rheinmetall. The stock is up 800%, more than NVIDIA the past 5 years. You telling me that this isn't profitable for the MIC? 800%, man. In 5 years, more than NVIDIA. That's pretty amazing. Rheinmetall. It would be interesting if there was a media outlet in Germany, an investigative journalist in Germany who would take a look at whether the political class is invested in Rheinmetall, like Nancy Pelosi, like journalists did in the United States, where they took a look at Nancy Pelosi and what she has invested in and figured out that she was the greatest investor, the greatest stock market trader in all of history. It would be interesting to see if there's someone in Germany who'll go through the Rheinmetall shareholders and see if there's some sort of political interest in Rheinmetall. 800% over 5 years. It's a lot of money at play. So in Mexico, there were protests, Gen Z protests in Mexico DF, Distrito Federal, and also in other areas of Mexico. And they're being labeled as Gen Z protests, but the protests that I've seen in other areas, not in the city center, that were peaceful, protesting against cartels and corruption, it didn't look like Gen Z at all, to be quite honest. A much older demographic appeared to be protesting in other areas, which was, at least from the video that I've seen, peaceful. Now the protests turned violent in the city center, close to the presidential palace, actually right outside the presidential palace. And protesters, they marched from the Angel of Independence, the Ángel de Independencia, and they made their way to the presidential palace, where they were met with a line of police. And that's when things got ugly. Things got very ugly. It wasn't a huge crowd, though, to be quite honest. Mexico City, I've lived in Mexico City, so I know the city quite well. It's a massive city, guys. It's huge. It's a huge city. We're talking 20 million people plus. It's just a massive city. So the crowd, when you think about it, when you put it in that kind of context, and when you look at the videos and the photos from the square of the presidential palace, it wasn't a very big turnout, to be quite honest. But maybe I'm wrong about this. People watching the video from Mexico, your comments are always welcome, and it would be interesting to see what people in Mexico are saying about what happened yesterday because things did get violent, at least with some of the protesters as well as some of the police. But it's being labeled as a Gen Z protest, and we've seen a lot of Gen Z protests over the past year. Seems like all of the regime change color revolutions over the past year have been some sort of Gen Z type of thing, which are sponsored by the collective West, deep state, NGOs like the NED and these types of groups. But that's what's happening in Mexico. The president of Mexico, she actually said as much. She said that these protests are driven by foreign actors and NGOs and bots, she said, on the internet. And she said, if you want to protest, then peaceful protests are always welcome. That's what the president of Mexico said in her statement. So anyway, that's what's going down in Mexico. I think everything will be all right in Mexico, to be quite honest. Once again, a city of 20 million, the capital. The protests looked pretty small, but who knows? Who knows? I'm not on the ground to assess the situation as well as maybe other people are. But let's turn our attention, since we're in the region of the Americas, in the hemisphere of the Americas, which is, according to Pete Hegseth, the U.S.'s neighborhood, which the United States will protect the Western Hemisphere. We have more buildup in and around Venezuela. We actually have starting today, we have the U.S. military training in Trinidad with 5 days of training in Trinidad. That is the U.S. military exercises, very, very close to Venezuela, which are going to be taking place for the next 5 days. Of course, Maduro has condemned these military exercises, escalating the tension in the region. And the Nobel Peace Prize winner, the amazing Nobel Peace Prize winner, Corina Machado, she put out an audio message. I'm trying to think which way to go. Let's go that way. Let's just continue walking this route, see where we end up. She put out an audio message on social media calling on administration officials in Caracas, military officials to turn on the government. A coup. She's basically calling on government and military officials to overthrow Maduro. That was her audio message. The Nobel Peace Prize winner, very peaceful, that Maria Corina Corazon Peaceful Machado, calling on forces to violently overthrow the government in Venezuela, the Maduro government. So let's do a clown world on this Sunday. Like this video, I remembered, like this video. Share this channel, subscribe to this channel, I remembered. Not quite at the beginning, but not quite at the end either, so I'm getting better. Now, let's do some clown worlds. And the coup, since we're talking about coups, the coup in the UK is getting interesting, very interesting. It looks like we have a new leader of the coup against 008, Kier Starmer. Why would you want to overthrow Kier Starmer? Who in their right mind would want to overthrow 008? I don't know, but it looks like, according to the UK Telegraph, that the new leader of the coup is Angela Rayner. She was let go by Kier Starmer, wasn't she? Because there was some sort of home loan scandal, and she was the housing secretary, and she was involved in some sort of a housing scandal, and Kier Starmer fired her. Well, it looks like she's back, and she's ready to take her revenge. Rayner's revenge. Rainer's Revenge. 008 stars in Rainer's Revenge. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, she's taken over, it looks like, for West Streeting. And she is claiming to have the support of a lot of MPs. She claims 70 MPs at the moment, but that could turn into 100 MPs who are going to support her to lead the party. She also says that she will have the backing of the unions as well. And according to the Telegraph, she is now getting her ducks in a row. That is what the Telegraph is saying. She's getting her ducks in a row to make a move against 008. Angela Rayner, looking to displace the most boring man in politics, Kier Starmer. A coup in London. Lindsey Graham posted a message on X of him playing golf with US President Trump. That was posted yesterday. Talk about some bad timing. Trump yesterday posted more vitriol towards Marjorie Taylor Greene. He said that Marjorie Traitor Greene, is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. So I guess that's her nickname for Trump, right? Marjorie Traitor Greene is what Trump said. And as he's posting, he actually posted another nasty message about MTG. Not just this one, he posted another one where he said something along the lines of grass that is green eventually turns brown and rots, or something like that. But he continues to go after MTG. And as he's going after MTG, Lindsey Graham thought it would be a good idea to post photos of him playing golf with Trump, to post a photo of him playing golf with Trump. What a great day playing golf with President Trump. So much fun today at the Trump-Graham Golf Classic. That will benefit the Republican cause greatly. President Trump, very generous with his time, and I appreciate all who made this hugely successful. Thank you, Mr. President. So Trump is trying to remove people in his own party. Robert Barnes posted on X, name the successful president who primaried members of his own party. Hint, none. Exactly, man. What kind of a president tries to shrink his base, his support, tries to primary people in his own party? It's bizarre, man. I've never seen anything like this. Even with politicians in the same party who have disagreements, you don't see the president, if he has a disagreement with someone in his party in past administrations. You never saw the president actively try to remove them and their supporters from the party, from his base of support. It's the exact opposite of what politics is about, isn't it? You're supposed to grow your base and your support. But anyway, Trump going after MTG, playing golf with Lindsey Graham. I like it. I like it a lot. I like playing golf with that Lindsey. What a nice MAGA coalition, right? Trump, Lindsey Graham, Rubio, Keith Kellogg, MAGA, MAGA. Outside of MAGA, Thomas Massey, MTG. Those people are out of MAGA. Inside MAGA, Rubio, Graham, Kellogg. Oh boy. Anyway, everybody, that is the video for today. theduran.locals.com. We are also on Substack, and you can find us on X. You can find us on Rumble. You can find us pretty much everywhere. I am signing out for today, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Take care.